Today we are going to be discussing sleep and sleep-related problems. As you can see from the picture, there are several sleep disorders, from excessive sleeping to no sleep, walking and talking in our sleep, paralysis during sleep, sleep apnea, sleep deprivation, and so many more. But I think one of the biggest issues we face as a society is having trouble falling asleep and then staying asleep. At some point, we all have those sleepless nights, which is normal, But if it happens on a regular basis, that's a medical problem. I'm tired, I'm moody, I want to sleep, but my brain won't stop talking to me. The big question is why? Why can't I sleep although my body is super exhausted? Now, in order to understand sleep problems, we first have to understand the physiology of sleep and why having a good night's sleep is so important to our health. So sleep helps regulate weight. Lack of sleep, it can increase the risk of becoming overweight. So if you struggle with weight, fixing sleep is the first crucial step towards the weight loss journey. Good sleep helps prevent diabetes by lowering insulin resistance. Growth hormone is produced during sleep. There's no point in getting growth hormone injections and increasing your risk of cancer without fixing your sleep. Focus on improving your sleep first. That'll raise your growth hormones. Now, sleep is very important to prevent dementia, Parkinson's disease. There's this amino acid called beta amyloid that accumulates during wakefulness when we're awake and is removed during sleep. Now, beta amyloid, when accumulated in brain, is going to be linked to dementia, Parkinson's, and so many other neurological disorders. In so many animal studies, they've shown that the brain actually shrinks during sleep, which allows for better circulation of a fluid called CSF around the brain, which helps remove all this beta amyloid and other toxins from the brain. We consolidate our memory in sleep, which means our brain decides what memories are worth keeping, what can be discarded. What happens when we close our eyes? We start producing melatonin. Number two, we trigger alpha waves in our brain, and it's these alpha waves that bridge the gap between wakefulness and sleep. There are two basic types of sleep, a rapid eye movement and not rapid eye movement. Our body cycles, between these two stages about 4 to 5 times in a typical 8-hour sleep cycle. In this picture, you can see that there is a typical 8-hour sleep cycle. It is split into rapid eye movement and non-rapid eye movement sleep. Now, we cycle through this stage of sleep about 4 to 5 times in 8 hours. Now, non-rapid eye movement sleep is a dreamless sleep, easy to wake up, at least in the initial stages of this sleep. However, later stages, it's kind of hard to wake somebody up. We can have sleepwalking and sleep talking disorders in this part of sleep. The other sleep is the rapid eye movement or the REM sleep. Now, this is the sleep where we have all our dreams, good or bad. Our brain is very active, however, all our muscles are paralyzed, which means we're unable to move. Now, that's a scary thought, to have paralysis in our sleep. However, this is a protective mechanism. Imagine if you're being chased by monsters, or you're having a really bad dream and your muscles are active. We could easily hurt ourselves or somebody around us. Now, we have an internal clock in our brain which is sensitive to dark signals and light signals. The optic nerve in our eye, it senses the morning light and triggers the internal clock in hypothalamus, which is part of the brain, that which helps release cortisol and helps us get up from sleep. When it gets dark outside, the nerve is getting less and less signal, and the internal clock is getting less signal, so it sends a message to the pineal gland, which releases melatonin. The melatonin makes us feel sleepy and gets us ready for bed. Now, what are some of the things that could, or that are keeping us from having a good night's sleep? So first is melatonin. Now, it's important for our sleep. So the blue light from our smartphones, it reduces melatonin levels. If we have elevated cortisol levels at nighttime, now cortisol is our stress hormone. The levels are supposed to rise in the morning, that gets us ready for the deal with the stress of life, and the levels drop at nighttime so we can have a restful sleep. Now, in some individuals, the cortisol rhythm is abnormal and the levels are low during daytime. So these individuals are always tired. You want that coffee, tea, sugar to just function. And however, at nighttime, the cortisol kind of surges up. So you can't sleep, but you got this tons of energy at nighttime. Have this hyper alertness. We're extremely focused, and then we can't sleep till about 1 in the morning. So think of the people who always say, I'm just a night person. We tend to, do a lot of impulsive buying or impulsive actions at night if we can't sleep. Also, you can have daytime fatigue and nighttime sleep issues. They're often related to our adrenal gland circadian rhythm, so that needs to be tested. The other issue that could potentially be causing sleep disorders is neurotransmitters. Now we have several neurotransmitters that are involved in sleep. GABA, serotonin, glutamate. They're important to help with our sleep, memory, and so many of other brain functions. Now in this picture, you can see that serotonin is important for our mood. When the serotonin levels are suppressed, people tend to be unhappy, they're depressed, they have a lot of stomach problems, irritable bowel syndrome. Acetylcholine is involved in learning and memory. Glutamate helps us with our memory. Now, GABA is one of my favorite neurotransmitters. It's released by the brain, helps us regulate our brain activity, so we may fall asleep. Anxiety medication use such as Xanax or clonazepam, they enhance the effect of GABA and help promote sleep. Serotonin is another important neurotransmitter that helps our brain calm down. Now, majority of the serotonin is actually made in our gut, not the brain. So no wonder, if we take too many antibiotics, we get irritable bowel syndrome, any other stomach or GI issues, our body makes less serotonin. So we have more anxiety, and we know anxious people can't sleep. So a good way to raise your serotonin level and help your sleep will be to actually take care of your stomach and gut. That means, minimizing use of antibiotics, taking good probiotics, a good balanced diet with a lot of vegetable and fiber, so these bacteria that produce serotonin in our gut are healthy and happy. Now, adenosine is another neurotransmitter. So when we are awake, the levels are rising. They rise throughout the day. Towards the end of the day, the levels kind of start declining down, which helps promote sleep. Now, what can we do to have an optimal sleep? So like I said, fix the gut so we produce more serotonin, which means we're happy and we'll sleep better. Limit the screen time at night, so less blue light. Improve melatonin levels. Fixing the rhythm of your cortisol if that's a problem, so that your cortisol levels are higher in the daytime, so you have more energy at daytime, not at nighttime. Taking supplements such as melatonin. Now, vitamin D by itself can help with sleep by raising melatonin levels. However, if you take too much of vitamin D, more than 2,000 units a day, sometimes it actually can lower melatonin. The other important one is called 5-HTP or hydroxytryptophan, which also actually produces serotonin, which is a precursor to melatonin and may help with sleep. Practice a good sleep hygiene. That is so important. That means no TV in the bedroom. Don't watch Netflix in there. And limit time on your smartphone. Have a consistent bedtime routine. A consistent bedtime that helps a lot. Now, if you tried everything that I said and you still can't sleep, probably the next logical step is to do testing for neurotransmitters and melatonin. Sleep is very, very important. So we can't improve our health, mood, diabetes, or lose weight without fixing our sleep. So let me know what you thought of this video. Was it helpful? Or maybe it was so boring that you fell asleep just listening to it. Either way, let me know by leaving your comments, and please do not forget to subscribe. That's it for today, and I'll see you back in a couple of days. And I hope that you followed some of the advice in this video and you have a good night and sweet dreams. We'll see you back. Thank you.